Hello and welcome to my new YouTube channel, Driving Classics. My name's David Mayfield, and we're going to really focus on the classic car community, really focus on the classic car culture, delve into the vast market of these vehicles and the enthusiasm that's going on with this. And my goal is to be able to pass on the passion that people have for these beautiful works of art. They come to shows like this and be able to show off those vehicles. They put blood, sweat, and tears into making these cars the best that they can, just to be able to preserve the history behind these wonderful vehicles. So come with us today, join our journey. We'll go into some history, we'll talk to owners, we'll get the stories behind each car that we feature. And we'll also talk during some of these episodes to restoration shops, those who sell these vehicles, just try to be able to pass on that passion for these classic cars. So come with us on our journey. If you like what you see, click subscribe. If you want to get updates, click the bell next to it once you subscribe. And we're trying to build this group. Share it if you know someone who loves these cars, and we'll have a good show here. So thank you very much and enjoy.
Hot Wheels, here they come. They're hot ones for racing fun.
With Hot Wheels, you can dream up a hot race.
Do you remember as a kid, either on Christmas morning opening gifts or on your birthday or just when you've been good during the year and you get the newest, latest model of Hot Wheels car or Matchbox car or whichever type of cars you got? You wanted the neatest one, you wanted the newest ones, you wanted the most cool cars that you could get. You get the racing sets, you get the car wash sets, you get the city sets, and you could play for hours using your imagination, pretending you were driving the coolest little hot rod, or a 1957 Chevy, or a 1975 Corvette. That was the car you wanted. But where are those feelings now? As an adult, you have everyday life, you have your job, you have the kids, but how can you get that feeling back today? That feeling of pure joy and freedom you had playing with those toy cars back in the day. Well, come with us on our journey and delve into the world of classic cars. You can pick from any car that you choose. Remember the ones that you really enjoyed as a child. And maybe through this journey, you'll be able to find that one and only, one-of-a-kind car that you dreamed of when you were a kid. Come delve into the world of classic cars. It's a world that not many people know about, but it's out there for the taking. So much excitement, so much freedom that you can make these cars your own and feel like a child again. Have that freedom, have that enjoyment. Come with us on our journey on Driving the Classic.
Okay, we're here right now with Roland and his 1972 Ford Gran Torino. Tell us a little bit about the car. How long have you had it? Just a little history on it, how you came about owning it.
I bought it in San Antonio, 2011. Bought it on February 17th to be exact. Bought it for a fairly good price. Wasn't running, kind of a clunker, needed a lot of work. We've been through a lot of money's been put into it, motor and trans and all that. She does get driven a lot, so she's not a trailer queen. She gets driven like it's meant to be. And I have a lot of fun coming out to car shows and meeting new people. I always look forward to what show I'm going to next, and that's about it. Got a 351 Windsor motor in it, making about 400 horsepower or so.
Nice.
Not drag raced or nothing, just street driven like a regular car. Take it to a lot of shows and hot rod nights and stuff. She still has the original paint on her. Don't have any plans on doing body and paint, leaving the original patina. The interior is still original to the car, and I plan to keep it like that for as long as I have the car. Hopefully I'll keep it until they bury me, and I don't know.
Well, that's what you do. You enjoy them, you take them as it is, and if it makes you happy, that's the way you keep it. So
yeah, she's been running pretty good, and a lot of fun to drive. Big head turner, I get a lot of thumbs up in it and stuff. And occasionally somebody always wants to try and race me, which I don't do. But, you know,
that's good.
She can't hold her own. So.
Very good.
In 1968, Ford launched its new mid-size line, initially known as the Fairlane Torino, with a GT convertible pacing the Indy 500 for that year. But these models were never badged with the Fairlane name, but soon became known only as the Ford Torino. While offering a full range of coupes, hardtops, and sedans, the GT line immediately gained attention for its fastback body, which mimicked the Ford Mustang, but with an even more radical roofline. While only 5,317 Torino GT convertibles were sold, the fastback coupe racked up more than 74,000 in unit sales. And the two-door hardtop sold an additional 23,939 units. Engines ranged from a 210 horsepower 302 V8 to a 325 horsepower 390 and a 360 horsepower Ram Air 428. Both a 3-speed and a 4-speed manual transmission were offered. The full Torino line continued into 1970 with few design changes. Collectors focused on the Torino GT and Cobra series. The GT Coupe sold almost 57,000 units, but there were only 3,939 convertibles produced, making them quite rare. The Torino received a major facelift in 1972, but critics had mixed reviews regarding the restyled grille and bodywork. The public voted with their wallets though, and sales stayed strong. The Gran Torino took over from the GT and Cobra. One of the more famous examples of the 1972 Gran Torino was featured in the 2008 Clint Eastwood movie of the same name, Gran Torino. With new safety regulations in the early 70s, redesigns meant larger front and rear bumpers and stronger sheet metal for 1973, but sales stayed strong as horsepower began to dwindle due to higher fuel standards. The Torino continued through 1976, and many of the last two-door hardtops have been painted in a red and white paint scheme made famous by the TV show Starsky and Hutch. Ford Torinos and Gran Torinos today are best remembered as stylish and more luxurious than the more common muscle cars of the day. They may not have the same performance as the better-known icons, but they still deliver the power when configured properly. And they typically sell at prices that make it possible for the entry-level collector to get into one.
Here we have another classic that's early to late 80s Jeep Wagoneer, Grand Wagoneer. This is another classic. It's not in the show, but it's one I'd like to feature because of just its uniqueness that it has. It was probably one of the first considered SUVs. They weren't called SUVs back then, but it was a very luxurious ride, very tough, four-wheel drive, V8. It's a very classy vehicle. You can still get into these fairly at a fairly decent price, but it would definitely be a contender on my list of classic cars to have. Now, it's not a 50s or 60s or even 70s, but it's got that classic look that that a lot of the owners love. The square body, the wood panels, the high sit, the boxiness of it. If you look at the top, you look at the roof, it's very reminiscent of a 1950s Tri-Fi Bel Air. It had the same type of roof on it. In future episodes, I'm going to travel to a shop that specializes in refitting these and reconditioning them and selling them. We're going to talk to them. And like I said, I just wanted to feature this one because they are such a classy design, and I wish they would have never stopped building them. But again, this is the 1980s Jeep Grand Wagoneer. All right, we're here with Darren and his beautiful 1953 Studebaker Commander. He has a really good story about how he came about this car. Like I said, it's really in good shape. He's done a good bit to it. But Darren, so tell us a little bit about the car and what you have here. And
10 years ago, I was going on 11 years. I got a call on the phone from a doctor I knew over 20 years ago. And on the phone, the lawyer said, "Did you know Dr. So-and-so?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said he passed away. And he said he was going through his desk and found a note in his desk that I get his Studebaker. And I couldn't believe that. After 20 some odd years, I never even talked to the doctor again.
Wow. Wow.
And it was totally original.
Mm-hmm.
And then I decided I'd go for 50s look, hot rod look in the 50s. And yeah.
And here you got it. That's beautiful.
For those who are not familiar with the name Studebaker, they were an American automobile manufacturer based in South Bend, Indiana. Founded in 1852 and incorporated in 1868 as the Studebaker Brothers Manufacturing Company, the firm was originally a producer of wagons, buggies, and carriages. Studebaker continued manufacturing other diversified products after automobile production ceased in 1966. Studebaker entered the automotive business in 1902 with an electric vehicle, and in 1904 with gasoline vehicles, all sold under the name Studebaker Automobile Company. The first gasoline automobiles to be fully manufactured by Studebaker were marketed in August 1912. Over the next 50 years, the company established a reputation for good quality and reliability. After years of financial problems, the company merged in 1954 with luxury car maker Packard to form the Studebaker Packard Corporation. However, Studebaker's financial problems were worse than the Packard executives had thought. The Packard marquee was phased out, and the company returned to the Studebaker Corporation name in 1962. The South Bend plant ceased production on December 20th, 1963, and the last Studebaker automobile rolled off the Hamilton, Ontario, Canada assembly line on March 17, 1966. In 1953, the Studebaker design team created a sleek new coupe that was quickly adapted to all 1953 Commander body styles. Studebaker billed the Commander look as European, and it was true that the car looked like nothing else on the American highways, especially in the two-door coupe. The Commander was low, sleek, and it was so striking. All Studebaker Commanders for 1953 were powered by a modern 232 V8 that was connected to the most advanced automatic 3-speed transmission on the market. Studebaker continued the Commander line until 1964. Now, this generation of Studebaker Commander is very popular among collectors. The low-slung, sleek coupe are particularly desirable, and club support is terrific nationwide, making an ownership of the Studebaker Commander quite enjoyable.
Johnson here in Houston at the Gateway Classic Car Dealership, and it's a beautiful place. We have a lot of choice here. So Shane, I appreciate you talking to us today. Well, tell us a little bit about the dealership, how long it's been here, how long have you been here, what's your experience working here?
So we're Gateway Classic Cars of Houston. We've actually been in business since 1999, so just over 20 years. We have 18 showrooms throughout the country. Houston's one of our larger showrooms, have about 160 cars in our inventory. We're a consignment dealer, so we help owners sell their vehicles and then actually reach out to buyers on a worldwide market. So we're able to sell to people across the country as well as other countries as well, New Zealand, Australia, Dubai, you name it, we're usually able to reach out to those buyers. What we do is we advertise the vehicle on our website on over 100 different websites, detailed photo shoot, video, getting cars as much exposure as possible. Today we're just going to kind of talk about the overall market of all the classic cars as of right now, kind of what's trending and what's up and coming as to what people are buying or selling. And right now is actually kind of the peak time for a lot of the cars, both purist types as well as your resto mods, more modernized fuel injection, things of that nature. Everybody's looking for a little bit of both to keep all these cars running and driving. So it's really nice to see that people kind of try to keep it alive. Right now, more of the younger generation, around my age, your 25 to 35s, you're looking for more turnkey, fuel injected, daily drive the cars. We actually have a 70 C10 pickup right to my left here as Phytech fuel injection, but keeps the classic look. And the older guys in their 50s and up want that pure numbers matching 70 Chevelle, SS, whatever it may be. That's the gist of Gateway. Like I said, we've been in this location for just about 5 years, about 70,000 square foot warehouse. We're up in the Spring area of Houston. Been in this actual location for about 2 years now. I've been with Gateway for a little over 2.5 years. So definitely a fun job. I can't complain too much. Get to drive classic cars on a daily basis. If you're ever looking to buy or sell one, definitely come out. As far as the market, I personally have 2 little ones I bring here all the time. I would say getting them into these cars is very important because when you don't see them anymore, they're kind of like some animals. Once they're gone, they're gone. You can't bring them back. They make kits, but it's just not the same as the real deal. So keeping these things running and driving, it's a craft, it's an art, but it's something you can take pride in. So definitely need to keep that alive.
Well, Shane, what kind of the bigger sellers did go through here?
So I call them essentially a Me Too car. Your 70 Chevelles, 66 Mustangs, 67s, your Tri-5 Bel Airs, 55 through 57. Right now it's picking up is your square body C10s, so usually around 76 through the 80s models. Those are definitely picking up. Of course, 70s short wheelbase C10s are always hot. GTOs and Trans Ams. If it's a Bandit Trans Am, it doesn't last more than 3 weeks typically. We got some of the smaller European cars, your Jaguars, Mercedes, things like that are usually pretty hot. The muscle cars are mostly selling to our overseas buyers because they're a little harder to reach. So we've actually had a Chevelle go to a guy in Europe. Just had another gentleman looking at one of our 63 vets to go over to New Zealand. We got a few guys that come in from Australia, usually buy 15, 20 cars at a time, take them overseas, and just keep that pride alive across the world. So it's definitely good to see that they're still going. Novas, Chevy 2s, those are always hot. Like I said, it's really the Me Too cars. Everybody usually has one. You kind of know about them from whether it's a movie that you grew up on, watching Bullet or Dukes of Hazzard, Chargers, Mopar cars. Those are definitely the big ones. Ones that have slowed down but definitely need to stay alive are like your Studebakers, your Packards, things that people don't necessarily know about much anymore. Those cars are the ones that we need to continue seeing. Old Hudsons, things like that. We don't see too many of them, but when we do get them into the showroom, we usually have quite a bit of interest. So it's good to see that people still have that desire, but like I said, they're getting fewer and fewer of them. So anybody at Gateway Classic Cars throughout all 18 of our showrooms are certainly willing to help you out, get answers to any questions you have. We're all pretty knowledgeable. We're not experts on every single car, but we're a jack of all trades. We know a little bit about each one of them pretty thoroughly. The ones that are more common, like your Corvettes and Chevelles and stuff, we'll know a little bit more about those, whereas some of you guys may actually know more than even us. So yeah, research is your biggest factor into that.
Okay. Well, we have a beautiful Studebaker pickup truck back here. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, sir. So the gentleman that actually owns this one had a couple cars with us. He actually become ill. He had plans to completely restore it back to his family members. Unfortunately, kind of like what this is going about is none of the family actually has any interest in having the vehicle because it's very old school. It's a 3 on the tree manual shift. Most kids today don't even know what that is. So it's very sad. But when I did see research trying to help the owner price this vehicle, I think I only found one other one out there available for sale. So definitely a rare beauty. Been nicely restored, resprayed to what I believe is the original color combination. Still has a factory motor and everything. So it's definitely running and driving, just very old school vintage style.
Well, Shane, I appreciate all the information today, and you have a beautiful showroom. Again, thank you for helping us out, and appreciate it.
Thank you for your time.
Well, that was our episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, if you like what you saw, please click down to subscribe and then click the bell to get the alerts when new updates come about. And again, you can always contact me. My email address, I got a Facebook link down at the bottom, so if there's something you'd like to see, something you'd like us to feature, even an idea that I may not have thought about, please let me know. We want to make this the best channel that we possibly can. So again, contact me, and thank you for watching.